for me in swimming, we fell asleep, you know.
We're a little bit behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, between 800 milligrams to 1000 milligrams per liter. That's how people sweat per hour.
Caeleb this summer put together a team of me, Eva, and Steve Youngbluth. All right. Dr. Eva Piatrikova.
Really nice
Did I say
pronunciation.
Earlier, Dr. Eva said I was the only person to ever say her name correct.
Exactly.
How do you say it?
Eva Piatrikova.
Piatrikova. Okay, so I told you, so this is episode 3, and we decided to start like a new interesting concept. So the guest of the previous podcast left you a question, not knowing who you were gonna be. So we're gonna open the podcast with the question that he left. What are you most afraid of besides dying or death of a loved one?
I'm probably scared of getting like really ill.
Really sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I work with people that are not the healthiest sometimes. I sometimes feel like it's getting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I observe like, you know, like almost getting paranoid that I can be in their shoes. That's one thing. But on the other side, it's like not doing the things I want to do because I'm scared. You know, that's the second, like the second thing I'm most afraid of. Not even trying to because I'm too scared.
So our company slogan is pursue potential, right? So you're afraid of not potentially reaching your maximum. Like you have a God-given talent and you're afraid of not maximizing every little drop that that's possible for you.
Pretty much.
Got it. Yeah. Anyways, I think we should tell everyone how we know each other, and then I'm super curious about the line of work that you do. So for the listeners, Dr. Eva Piatrikova is Caeleb Dressel's physiologist. Is that the correct word?
Yep.
Or what do you prefer?
I don't mind. Physiologist, sports scientist.
Yeah. So Caeleb this summer put together a team of me, Eva, and Steve Youngbluth. So Steve is the swim coach. Eva is Caeleb's physiologist, and then I'm his strength coach. And so that's how we met. And then Eva just happened to be in LA because she's traveling to the Triathlon World Championships on Monday. And so she's here, and I was like, oh, we're in LA. Let's shoot a podcast. So we're here together now. But yeah, do you want to, can I get just like a rundown of your swimming career and then like what you did for schooling and all that?
Yeah, so I started with swimming quite late. I think when I was 12. I fell in love with swimming, I think for the first time when I saw Michael Phelps at World Championships in Melbourne.
2007.
Yeah. I was impressed by the fact that to any event he went to, like he swam differently to everyone else. And I love to see like that what I thought is not possible to win multiple medals, like it was done by him, you know. And then I got impressed by the fact like you can do that in sport, you know, like in any sport. Like swimming happened to be my favorite sport because I love water. And I grew up around the water, so I obviously needed to be safe. But yeah, I fell in love with water, started to swim in a small town where I'm from. I swam 5 times a day for 1 hour, and I wanted to be like Michael Phelps in my head. Mm-hmm. And I started to Google things, and I started to watch swimming technique on YouTube. So I was almost kind of coaching myself, because in the town where I grew up, we didn't have the best opportunities to reach what I wanted to reach, obviously. But yeah, at that time I fell in love with like mastering physiology, mastering the performance. And by the time I finished my high school, I was deciding what I want to do. And I knew I want to go into sport. But back at home, we don't have universities that specialize in sports science. So my brother studied in London. He did his PhD there, and then he stayed working there. So he said, like, look, maybe you could try to go to University of Bath. But
That's in the UK. Right?
yes, that's in the UK. It's at that time it was top 2 universities in UK to study sports science. Now I think it's top 15 in the world for sports science. And it's like every year, like when you see the university, it always scores the highest marks for sports science and health. So I decided to go there, and I was just blown away by how much I don't know, like how many things there are that underpin performance. And since then, I'm in sports science.
Yeah.
I love to, as you guys do, pursue potential of athletes and do anything I can to optimize and help coaches, help strength and conditioning coaches, help just swimming coaches or any coaches to maybe navigate the hard path you have to go through in order to be an Olympian, or even, I don't know, win nationals or Olympics or whatever you dream about.
Yeah. How far did you take swimming yourself?
I didn't get it too far. It allowed me to study.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful for that.
It got you into university.
Yes. So,
in the UK.
Yes. But I would say my mentality was wrong, and it was also combined with, I don't want to say poor coaching, because my coach was great. For what he was given in terms of the education, he was giving me the best. But it was almost like a meeting at the wrong time. Like I used to swim 5 times a day, and when I entered the squad, the expectation was to swim 10 times. 5 times a week, and then it was 10 times a week plus gym work and stuff. So I didn't handle that really well because it was just too big increase.
Too big of a jump.
Yeah.
In volume.
And then I remember I went to my coach and I said, like, look, we learn and we study how we should individualize training intensities and recoveries and so on. And then he told me that that's not possible in swimming. And I remember how angry I got, because I knew, like, I still feel like I haven't reached potential with my swimming. Like, I still feel like there is so much more, or there was so much more I could have achieved if somebody individualized things for me. Nutrition, sleep, recovery, maybe times I was supposed to hit and not be at the end of the snake, I call it, where you just touch the wall and you go, and somebody just touches the walls and they have 30 seconds to rest or 1 minute to rest because they're too fast. So
is that where your passion for individualizing training
absolutely.
For athlete comes from? It comes from your own frustration.
It's funny I'm saying this, that I was frustrated with the coach, with myself, but when I came up with the idea 2 years later to kind of try to fix the problem, like why we can't individualize swimming intensity, I came to the same coach. If he would like to be on the project, I want to do it to help swimming. And he said yes.
Even though he said it was impossible earlier.
So he jumped on the train with me. And then for 3 years, we were working out different protocols and methods in order to allow swimming coaches to optimize training intensity. So in the project, I called it Closing the Gap Between Science and Practice in Swimming Testing and Prescription Monitoring. He was with me the whole time.
Mm.
And
this was your PhD dissertation?
That was my PhD. And yeah.
So what was the main gist of your entire PhD dissertation?
So my idea was to come up with a protocol that is easy, is valid and reliable, so you can actually use it in any club, any squad. You don't need money to actually get the gist of how physiologically equipped the swimmer is, like how good is their like peak speed is, anaerobic system is, and aerobic system is.
Can you walk me through the protocol?
Yeah, so it is coming off of a project my friend was doing at the time when I was doing masters. I was studying at the University of Exeter for my master's by research, and there was student Ida Clark. She was doing research for sub 2 hour marathon project because it was done at the university there, and they were using 3-minute all out test. So the idea essentially is you go all out from the beginning. When you go all out, you hit the peak speed, and then you are trying to maintain the highest speed possible, but you can see how the speed is dropping off, signaling to you how your anaerobic resources are dropping off.
This is on a bike or
no, it's in the
swimming.
pool.
Okay.
So this was done in the pool. So for runners, it was in running, bike, it was in bike. But the whole idea is physiology works in the way if you go all out, you hit your like phosphocreatine stores. And
so they're going like 50 freestyle technique off the bat, ready go, 50 as hard as you can.
Then
There's
you
no
go
pacing.
as hard as you can, and we are seeing the speed dropping off. And then once you use your anaerobic resources, then the highest speed you can use is your anaerobic threshold.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of like critical velocity.
Yes, critical speed, exactly.
Critical speed,
So I took that protocol from cycling and running and different sports, and I tried to apply it in swimming, and it worked. So we could actually go through 10 or 20 swimmers in an hour, which never happened before if you had to do step tests and take lactates and all sorts of stuff. So for me, in the 4 years' time when I was using that, I could finally feel like I contributed somehow to the problem many swimmers face, where you just go up and down and up and down.
The lack of individualization.
Yeah, and you always are, if you're lucky, you are the leader of the group, but most of us are workhorses for the leaders of the group, right? And that's how it shouldn't be if you want to pursue your potential, right?
Yeah. Wait, so can you walk me through, so you're doing an all-out, basically, effort for 3 minutes, and then how do you determine what the critical speed is?
So when you take the laps, right, you get the speed for each lap. And then you get the curve going up and then down, and then it's leveling off at the end, because once you deplete the anaerobic resources, then you just see the speed being constant.
It's the same.
It's the anaerobics, anaerobic threshold.
And then you're taking the pace of that whenever it flatlines.
Yes.
You're taking the pace of that.
Yes.
And whatever that pace is your lactate threshold.
Is your lactate threshold, anaerobic threshold, or critical speed. And then what you do is imagine you have the curve going up and down, but you almost fill out the area beneath the curve, but above the critical speed, and that gives you an idea of your anaerobic capacity. So now you finally have 3 measures. You have your peak speed, so the maximum speed you reached. You have your critical speed, which many coaches use to prescribe interval work, right? And is probably one of the strongest parameters that correlates with swimming performance and explains a lot of performance in swimming. And then you get the anaerobic capacity, right? So finally, we have a test that can measure all 3 energy systems, or at least estimate them, right? So imagine you are a coach, you have 30 swimmers, you will never have a chance to test them regularly. So a protocol like that can be done in 3 minutes and can give you 3 numbers showing you estimations of how strong your energy systems are. It's just, it's a nice way to move finally swimming where it should be. Like for me, I work in different sports. I see how advanced cycling is, how advanced running is, how they use technology, and how they use science to move the sport to a new level. For me, in swimming, we fell asleep,
We're a little bit behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why that is.
Maybe the culture, the philosophy, maybe obviously it's harder to measure things in the water, but I don't have the answer.
Yeah. So after you take, say a coach takes, their 30 athletes through this protocol and they find different things. This maybe athlete A has a higher power capacity, like they have a higher lactate production capacity. They can get to 18 millimoles or whatever, but their anaerobic is lower or whatever. What are you doing to like actually individualize after you get the results of the testing?
So the good thing is now we have normative data of what you should be like, right?
And depending on event too, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So sprinters have much greater anaerobic capacity, lower critical speed. Guys who are middle distance have like lower D prime, the anaerobic capacity, and higher critical speed. And distance guys have really low anaerobic capacity but really high critical speed. Right.
Yeah.
So when you, for example, are age group coach, then you can see first if the events you are choosing for your swimmer
is correct or not.
Are correct.
Yeah, that's important.
Or if you are in the discipline where you believe, technically speaking, you have the swimmer that fits to this discipline, but they lack the physiological capacity that you meant to have in that event, then you know what you need to work on, right? So then I, for example, know I have to work on critical speed more. For example, in 200-meter distance, we know if we calculate things, around 60% of energy in 200-meter freestyle, for example, is coming from aerobic system and can be explained by the critical speed derived from 3-minute all-out test. So actually you have the data derived from a test that is easy and is related and explained performance, right? So now I don't hear the coaches telling me why, like the parameters you are giving me are just here for sake of measuring. Those are actually parameters that are explaining the performance. If you improve this parameter in 200-meter freestyle by this much, you can expect this change in the time, right?
I see. So, and you're determining someone's anaerobic capacity by measuring their time, or are you measuring wattage, or what's the unit that you're using to measure the anaerobic capacity?
Is the speed.
The speed.
Yes.
So the only where my brain goes is there's one confounder, which is skill, sports skill, because you can have, say, a distance swimmer who is extremely skilled at just swimming, and they can produce. Maybe they can swim fast and they can swim a 11-second 25, which is pretty fast for a distance swimmer. But like functionally, physiologically, like if maybe you put them on an assault bike or something where there's no skill involved, their absolute capacity is lower, but they can fake it because their swimming skill is good.
Yeah.
Is there any way to combat that, the confounder of that in this protocol?
The skill.
Yeah.
So actually, when you do the test, the coach captures stroke rate, stroke count, and you can then calculate the stroke length and the stroke index. So
what's stroke index?
Stroke index is stroke length multiplied by speed.
Stroke length.
It's like swimming economy index.
Okay.
So you can have 2 people or 3 swimmers swimming at the same speed, but usually the swimmer with the longer stroke length
is
have
the most
higher.
efficient.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I see.
So by using the stopwatch that can now collect stroke rate, you can not only see the speed curve you get the physiological data from, but also technical proficiency, right?
Okay.
So you can actually see the confounding factor, as you said, like technical proficiency, right?
Yeah, I see. And so this was your dissertation project.
Yes. So I went through the whole validation. So I went
reliability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So retest reliability. I applied it across age group swimmers from the age of 12 to 18. I compared the results from 3-minute all-out test to step test, which is a gold standard in swimming.
What's the step test?
When you go like 7/200s, you're increasing the pace, and you essentially go through the whole intensity spectrum. You're taking lactates, VO2, heart rate.
So like the first 200 is easy, and then you go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Is the interval getting faster, or just the effort is getting harder?
So you go on like 30 seconds break in between, right? Between the 200s, and you're supposed to swim 5 seconds faster every 200 meters, for example. Like there are different versions, but this is the version I used. It's from Australians. So is widely used
Yeah.
in swimming community.
Have you heard of the 3,000 meters for time?
Yeah, I used to do that.
I think I did
Yeah.
that like 10 times in my life, and I
Yeah,
hated it.
Yeah,
That-
it's supposed to estimate critical speed.
Right. You
Right.
take the average speed of your 3,000 and
yeah.
it's your critical
Or there is
speed.
2K time trial,
Right.
or 20-minute time trial, or 30-minute time trial. It's all supposed to explain the critical speed, which
Right.
you can now measure in 3 minutes.
Right.
Right.
And the issue with that is you get assholes like me who like just hate doing it. So
Yeah.
you swim slow on purpose.
Yeah.
And then my critical speed is like 150 per 100.
Yeah, but it's, I think, difficult to even trust in the process.
Right.
Like if you're a sprinter or middle distance swimmer, I get these questions from swimmers like, why should I be swimming 3K or
Doesn't make
2K?
sense. Yeah.
Right? Is there a better version? Like I feel like swimmers are prepared to step up the game and utilize sports science, right?
Yeah.
So I think the earlier we start implementing what other sports do, we can almost level up, you
Yeah.
know, and see swimming to be popular sport where people don't drop out because of swimming like injury.
And it's boring.
Yeah.
And feel like one of the things, like, because I'm a sprint athlete myself, and so like basically anything over 200 yards I start getting really tired.
Yeah.
But then the coach makes you feel guilty for not working hard, but it's just really my Twitch profile
Yeah.
is not meant for swimming 10,000 meters for the practice. And then your coach is yelling at you, work harder, why aren't you working harder, you need to swim faster. And then the kid ends up hating the sport, who is meant to be a 50-meter specialist,
Yeah.
but they're forced to swim 8,000 meters, and we're losing a lot of talent. So I think tests like yours can help the coach understand, oh, my athlete can produce 18 millimoles of lactate. This guy has an incredible power capacity. We should use it, in that way, in his whatever God-given way that he was given, and not pigeonhole into making him swim 10,000 meters at practice.
I think you have to kind of realize, like, like I always laugh, but not in a bad way. Like when swimmers start to compare lactates, like who pushes higher lactate, because
Is that a silly measure?
it is good measure, but you have to be like careful and clever about how you use that. So, like the most standard thing is like you do 25 or 50 all out, and they take blood lactate from your ear or from your finger, and they just take one measure, just the first measure. So it means like me and you could get 12 and I would get 8, and then we would stop, right? But
how fast can you clear it?
But then in 2 minutes time, if you would take something again, my peak would be 15.8. So if it makes if that makes sense, like what I'm saying, like if you want to use lactate well, you have to draw a curve again. Like what are the lactate kinetics? Where does it peak? How fast it peaks? How much, for example, millimoles per liter per second you produce, right? That's a very important measure, and it puts you in context. For example, me and you will swim, 25 meters freestyle. Me and you will hit the time of 11 seconds. You produce 18, I produce 15, right? It means you produce more lactate for the same speed, right? So now you get that into context,
Right.
and not just comparing numbers for sake of comparing numbers.
Right. That would mean you're more efficient. If you produce 15 and
No,
I
you're
produce
producing more alactic system, right? Your anaerobic resources are much greater, right? And you can look at it in two different ways again. You can look at it in the way, as you just said to me, like I'm more proficient, yeah. But I can also look at it in the opposite way, like you have the scope to use more
I see.
anaerobic system, right? That's why I'm saying like lactate is just one measure. If you combine that with aerobic efficiency, right? We have now analyzers like VO2 Master, where we can look at aerobic efficiency, combine that with lactate, and suddenly you see like you can have, 8 finalists in Olympic Games, and they all have completely different profiles, right? But if we could work with them and they know what they need to work on. It's like, we just talked today, like guys like Caeleb or Phelps or Popovici. Hey, I think if we use this data and use the science to inform the training
coach,
prescription and swim coach, then I think we haven't reached potential, like how far as swimmers can go to.
So you think the world records are going to keep getting faster for another 10, 20 years?
I think if we're going to be clever and we will utilize science to our benefit, then yes. Because I think we are just scratching the surface with like individualization and prescription of training.
I want to go back to the lactate. So you're looking at peak lactate, but then you also want to take it like 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after.
So usually you take like when swimmer finishes, like all out
Right
effort,
away, take it.
Then you usually take it like, some people would take it every 30 seconds, some people would take it every minute, right? And you essentially plot it like, I don't know, you touch the wall, 5.6, 8.9, 12.3, 15.3, right?
It keeps going up after the effort is done.
Sometimes yes.
Right.
We can't assume that when you touch the wall and you take the first measurement, that's where the peak is.
Right.
Right. But most of the coaches take it like that.
And then you also want to measure how fast you can clear it out of your system. I heard on a podcast from Bob Bowman with Leon Marchand. He is an individual. He's a unique case because he can produce, I forget the number he gave. I think it was like 18 maybe. 18 is pretty high, right?
It is
18,
higher
19.
up, yeah.
He said Leon has an incredible ability to produce extremely high amounts of lactate, like 18, 19 millimoles. And then he can, in 2 minutes, come back down to like 2.
Yeah.
So he has both the crazy anaerobic capacity, because he's been 40 point in 100 freestyle yards, which is crazy fast.
Yeah.
But then he can also go 402 in the 400 IM, which is crazy fast too. So the versatility with his lactate is crazy.
Yeah, but that's an example of a nice and individualized prescription where you know your athlete, you utilize a methodology that works for you, and then you optimize and tweak based on that. You use the data to inform your prescription, and you monitor regularly to re-prescribe, right? To reset new way of prescribing training zones.
So I always talk about low-hanging fruit in terms of training. I'm always looking for the low-hanging, like what's the easiest thing that we can improve to have the biggest impact on the athlete's performance? Excuse me. So like when I'm looking at an athlete from the lens of a strength coach, obviously when a strength coach is looking at an athlete, they're looking at, mobility, strength, power, upper body strength, lower body power. And then the athlete, the coach is finding which one of these levers can I pull to make sure I'm going to make the athlete go to the next level. When you're looking at an athlete, say like Caeleb, and you're doing testing on him, what as a physiologist is like the first thing that comes to mind, that what's like the biggest lever that you can pull in order to improve an athlete?
You mean from physiological?
Yeah, just from your lens. Because like I have my own biases for how I'm going to improve an athlete.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how are you viewing the world, or how are you viewing an athlete?
So I think for me the most important thing is the profiling of the athlete. Like you do the testing to see what the mobility, what the ranges are, what the strength is, what the power is. I do the same with physiological testing, right? I look at aerobic system, anaerobic system, phosphocreatine system. I love to look at metabolic efficiency, how much VO2 you use per meter per second or per 100 at that pace, right? I go to basics as well. So I'm looking at things like sweat analysis. That is not as obvious in swimming because you are in the water, right?
Yeah.
But swimmers feel like they don't need to drink when they are in the water.
Yeah, just drink the pool water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, that's like first thing, like profiling where they are, if they have the balanced energy systems, and then I go nutrition, like how we are there.
Is nutrition
hydration.
like the first thing that you look at?
Nutrition, sleep,
and
prescription, like how you coach or you are utilizing prescription, training intensity distribution.
You said you look at the aerobic system.
Yeah.
Is that important for, say, a guy like Caeleb who's doing the 50 freestyle? Are you still looking at aerobic system for 50 freestyle specialists?
Of course. Like, I mean, whilst aerobic system doesn't contribute as much to energy production in the event, having it at decent level allows you to repeat maximum efforts, right? Because the faster you recover, right, the faster your VO2 comes down after an effort, it mirrors phosphocreatine stores, right? They just being pumped back into the muscle.
And
so
you're talking about in between days, but also in between
within
reps.
the session.
Yeah.
So you can last for longer reps,
Right.
right? Also, when you're looking at 100-meter freestyle, for example, or 100 fly, we can see like sprinters have to work on back end, right? Where at the back end of the 100 freestyle or 100 fly, your aerobic system is kicking in. So if it's underdeveloped and you have really strong anaerobic system, with anaerobic system, you use lactate, but by utilizing lactate, there are hydrogen ions that are released into the muscle that hurts. And if your aerobic system is weaker, then it can't clear.
It can't clear the
things.
hydrogen ions fast
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I see. And how you measure aerobic by VO2?
I
do you
yes,
measure
I use VO2. So I look at how much VO2 you use per the pace you swam in the 100 meters.
Ah, got
It's
it.
like metabolic
Got it.
efficiency,
So
right?
if say I'm swimming 107 per 100 and I'm using 27 milliliters per kg per minute,
Yeah.
versus someone who's swimming 107 but they're using 45.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's double.
But the
right?
person at 27 is more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see. And do you have a protocol to measure aerobic efficiency? How do you do that?
There are different protocols, but I like to use, like, if we do those 200s, for example, right?
The step test that you're
yes,
talking about. Okay.
similar things to that. So I put you at certain speed. I want you to test metabolic efficiency. Let's say I put you on 107 pace, which is 214, right? And then at the end, when you come in, I give you VO2 master on, you breathe into that for like 30 seconds, and we see how much VO2 you use.
That you're using.
Yeah,
I see.
exactly.
And then, so say like you do the testing. Do you have norms that you are looking for? Because like obviously you want the VO2 higher for a 1500 specialist versus a 50 specialist. Like,
Yeah.
And then there comes a point where there's a point of diminishing returns for the sprinter to develop the aerobic system. Like maybe they have 70 milliliters per kg, which is crazy high.
Yeah.
Then you would tell the sprinter, okay, we don't need to develop.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the minimum number in terms of VO2 for a sprinter and then a distance swimmer?
I think that's very questionable as well, because you can have somebody whose VO2 max is 70 or 65, but their anaerobic threshold is not close to VO2 peak, right? So you are essentially playing with the distributions of training zones. Like you can have high VO2 max, but your ability to distribute the oxygen to the muscles can be restricted, if it makes sense.
That's measured via anaerobic capacity.
Anaerobic threshold can
sorry.
be a parameter where you get a steady state VO2. So that's where you usually measure metabolic efficiency or lower down. But VO2 max is your maximum oxygen consumption or
Right.
maximum aerobic capacity, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like you can have two people that have same
70,
VO2 max,
Yeah.
but their anaerobic threshold can be completely different.
So anaerobic is more distribution of oxygen. Is that what you're saying?
It is how close your anaerobic threshold is to VO2 max, how close the zones are to
Okay,
each other,
okay.
right? So the higher the anaerobic threshold, the longer you can sustain the
Got
speed,
it. Got
right?
it, okay.
Without like big metabolic problems.
Yeah. Becoming too acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. So you do all the testing. You find what their VO2 max is. What are some like the most common problems that swimmers have?
With the prescription?
Yeah, or like because like I see trends. Like we work with several hundred swimmers, and I see with high school athletes, I see very common trends all the time, and I'm just repeating the same action over. Have you seen trends among swimmers it's like, oh, all 50 guys are like this, or all 1,500 guys are like this, or is it wildly different all the time?
Yeah, I see usually that sprinters work a lot on like anaerobic capacity and peak speed work, but very little on the anaerobic threshold work, right? So you have a swimmer that is completely out of balance, right? So that's one thing. Then
how important is anaerobic threshold for a 50 guy though?
it explains some performance. It explains around 20 to 30% of the performance
of a 50-meter race.
Yes.
For a 21-second race.
Thereabouts. So you have to think about not many people can swim 21 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So when you start modeling things, maybe for 21 guys it will explain 15%, let's say, or 10 or 15%.
Much less.
If it's less, then we still have to think about the difference between the guys that will go to semi-final or final in Olympics. It's marginal. So if your aerobic system is really poor, then you don't stand a chance to get like to the top guys.
Because you can't recover to swim fast in finals.
For example.
Yeah. I see. So say I'm working with an athlete and their time to 0 to 25 is really fast, but 25 to 35 and then 35 to 45, their time segments, like that's what I need to improve. What kind of training would you prescribe for an athlete who swims 21 seconds, say 21.7, but they need to improve the 25 to 40, like 0 to 25 is world-class, world record pace, but 25 to 45 is poor. What would you recommend a swim coach to do in that situation?
I think I would work more on anaerobic capacity to hold the highest speed possible. So like 25, that's essentially ATP PCR system, so the phosphocreatine system. But if you can't hold beyond like 10 seconds, that's a question of anaerobic capacity, like tolerance.
So what kind of, like in terms of set design, like exercise prescription?
Oh, okay.
What kind of
like I would be working on something like 50s or maybe 40s. The lowest I would go to is like 35s maybe, but 35s to 50s I would go with that all out completely. But then I would give a lot of rest for the anaerobic capacity to almost like recover, reconstitute, and then I repeat the efforts.
So you would let them recover fully?
Fully.
Yeah. So if they need 20 minutes, I give them 20 minutes. They won't
need 20 minutes. They will need maybe 4 to 6 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would need 30 minutes.
No, you wouldn't. No.
Me and Sid, after we do 135, we're throwing up.
But you can kind of see that if you have the chance to have VO2 analyzer, you can see how fast the VO2 recovers. The fitter you are, the faster your off kinetics are. So how fast you recover down to baseline with VO2, and you can use that to prescribe then like individualized rest between.
I have a selfish question. So I have the capacity to make myself throw up in 20 seconds. I've seen this many times where I'll do a 20-second all-out effort, say in the pool, and it's worse when I'm out of shape. Like right now, if I did it, I'll probably throw up because I'm not in very good shape. Once I'm in shape, the feeling of wanting to throw up goes away. And then I have other people who they go all out and then they're like, okay, I'm ready to do another one. Meanwhile, I have to lay down for 45 minutes because I'm throwing up after 20 seconds of effort. Sid always makes fun of me because he thinks I'm soft. Why is that? Is there some kind of physiological rationale to that, or am I just being a baby?
I think it depends on how your digestion works, right? Because what happens that some people are more sensitive, right? Also, it depends what you've eaten before the session, like how far away from the session you ate. If you ate something that is a bit maybe more fatty, or there is more fiber. So what happens is essentially if it stays there, if it's too close or it was too heavy to digest, then when you go all out effort, the blood goes away from your digestive system into the muscles, and that's what happens. Like if you have a little bit more sensitive stomach, then that's what happens.
I do have a sensitive stomach.
There you go then.
Yeah. So in terms of like pre-meat nutrition, then you suggest no fat or lower fat,
Yeah.
lower fiber. Is there a protocol that you recommend for pre-meat nutrition?
Like it is very individual, right? But I would say there are some terms, or like there are some like steps you should, or rules. You shouldn't eat too much fiber because it's hard to digest.
Before you race.
Before
but
you
fiber
race,
generally
yeah,
is good
yeah.
for your health.
It is great. It's great for your microbiome. It's great for digestion, for everything. But just before the race, where you want fast digestion, you want the carbohydrates to enter your bloodstream as soon as possible, or your glycogen to recover. You want more simpler foods.
Simple carbs.
Yes.
Rice,
so it could be
bananas.
rice, rice cakes with jam, or white bread with, I don't know, peanut butter, or banana, or like gummy bears, you know? So something like that. I would go for simpler meals rather than like, I don't know, scrambled eggs or
Yeah.
Waffle House.
Waffle House. Shout out Caleb. Was that the first place Caleb brought you, to Waffle House?
No, he took me to First Watch.
First watch first,
Yes,
and
but then he
wanted
told
you to
me,
have the
yes,
American experience. So
American.
Caleb took Eva to Waffle House. What did he order?
Everything. Just to taste American food.
Here's a little bit of pancake, a little bit of bacon. You guys probably don't have food like that in Slovakia.
We do, but it's expensive. Like this is the funniest thing. Like when I was speaking to Caleb, like McDonald's back at home, it's $5 to $10 more expensive than in US.
In Slovakia?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about how you know Caleb.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, we didn't mention, yeah.
So I think like we met each other 2 years ago when I came to Florida. So I was working for Flex. I don't know if you know Flex.
PHLEX.
Yes,
Yep.
it's a device that I was working on with Ryan and Harry. And they actually asked me if I would be like the data scientist. So using the technology to make sense for coaches and athletes.
And the device was measuring pace.
Pace, heart rate, stroke length, stroke index. And it made it into like a report, and you would have like a short-term and long-term reports and analysis and stuff. And they wanted to try it with Florida Gators, so we went there to see them. And for the first time I saw Caleb there, and it was funny because I took the session from the coach just to have like something to look at. And when I was flying back home, I was just looking at the session and thinking like there was a massive group doing the same session, and I was watching those athletes, and obviously in my mind like I could see different responses, right? And I was just thinking like it was a shame that I didn't get to speak to Caleb. I really wanted to, but you know, like when you are in the sessions, like you don't disturb, and then we had to go. And then I said to Ryan, like, I wish I could have spoken to him, because to me he seemed like a guy, like he loves swimming, and he would like to move it to another level. But at that time, you know, like I came back home and I moved in different directions, like with cycling and running and stuff. And I saw him in Paris, not doing as he would like to be doing. And actually, it was just a few months ago when Ryan texted me that Caleb is looking for a sports scientist. And he asked Ryan if he knows someone. And me and Ryan are very good friends. And he said, he like recommended me to Caleb, and then Caleb reached out, and I just couldn't believe that, you know, like he's actually reaching out to somebody in Slovakia.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So yeah,
I had a very similar experience too.
But it is like, for me, like I know he says like he does want to change the sport of swimming through his achievements and through his journey. But we are on the same page, because I would really like to show like you can come back even stronger, whoever you are, if it's Caeleb or me or you,
Whatever,
right?
yeah.
Whoever there is a way to come back even stronger if you train more carefully or more efficiently, and using your brain.
Train hard and smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Caleb has no problem training hard.
No, at all.
We kind of have to like leash him in almost. Yeah. Interesting. And can you walk us through kind of what you did with Caleb? Like, we don't have to go into like all the specific details, but kind of like what you were testing him with and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to disclose maybe too much.
Okay.
But yeah, we've done the physiological testing I mentioned. We did some step tests. We did some lactate work. You know, we are trying some new things. I'm actually working on behind the scenes. Like, I haven't published any of that yet. So
We should.
just trying the new things out. And we've done some nutritional analysis as well, looking at the body composition stuff and sweat profile and these things, like small things that could help him to step up the game, I suppose.
And these are all things that you do with your company.
Yes. Yeah.
What's your company again? What's the name?
Just the EP.
EP, right?
Yeah.
Can you?
Very simple.
And you work with general pop athletes, triathletes.
Yeah.
What do you do for Gen Pop people?
So I do like longevity screening. So you have Peter Attia in America. So it's something very similar. So I'm trying to educate the population how to stay happy and healthy. I go to kindergarten schools, high schools to substitute, I suppose, the state work, right? Of not just educating kids to read and write and, I don't know, calculate, but I want them to be like able to look after their health as well.
How to be healthy.
Yeah.
This is a vegetable.
Yeah.
This is a French fry.
Exactly. Yeah. So I do that, and then I just do screening. Right? I have people after heart attacks. I have people with diabetes. I have menopausal women. I have people after chemotherapy. So there are a mix of things I work on. And there are people just that want to go into sport, but they don't know how to start, and then there is completely other side of my work. That's working with the guys that want to reach their potential.
Yeah.
They want to see how far they can push their bodies. And
with the Gen Pop people, is there a similar common trait that you see? Like we were talking about the trends. Like what's the most common trend with Gen Pop that people can work on?
Moving, physical activity.
Yeah.
We are not moving enough. We don't eat well. We eat very little fiber.
What's like the easiest? Like if someone's listening to this and they're like, I'm gonna make this change. What's like? Do you have hacks? Like a 2-minute hack.
Like the easiest change is to park away your car as far as you can from supermarket, or don't use your car if you don't have to. Drink well. It doesn't mean you drink 2 or 3 liters of just fresh water. You have to mix it with some electrolytes.
What's an electrolyte for the listeners?
Electrolyte, it's like sodium, potassium, magnesium. Yeah.
Is there a specific ratio that people should look out for?
You should be looking. Ideally, you should know how you sweat. So what your sweat profile is. If you have a sweater,
go book a sweat testing with Eva first.
Not necessarily with me, but you guys have far more like sweat testing facilities in America.
Yeah.
So
I've heard like you can wear a hat and then look at your hat and see if you have a lot of white marks.
Yeah, but you don't actually know how much sodium you lose per liter, right? But there are analyzers that can calculate that exactly for you.
So if you do the sweat test and you find out you're a high sodium sweater, then you need more sodium.
Yeah.
How much sodium? Because we used to think
So-
like 1,000 milligrams was a lot back like 5 years
That's
ago.
average, I suppose. Between 800...
Daily.
No, between 800 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams per liter. That's how people sweat per hour, right?
Per hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are people that sweat like 1,600 milligrams.
Wow.
Yeah. So it means like we sweat differently,
Yeah.
right? So depending on that, how we sweat, we ideally should be ingesting electrolytes.
So say someone is losing 1,600 milligrams of sodium, and you said 1,600 milligrams per
Liter.
liter per
Yeah.
hour. Does that mean they need to be taking in 1,600 milligrams of sodium, or like say 3,200 milligrams of sodium per day, or like is there an upper limit to how much
That
sodium?
you should be like thinking like, if I know this is how much I sweat, then before the session and during the session, I should ideally be mixing the electrolytes in the concentration I sweat. So I constantly keep, filling up the pumps, the sodium potassium pumps that I have in my muscles. So I don't cramp up, for
Right,
example,
right.
or I don't accumulate too high core temperature, right? Because
Or do you get higher core temperatures if sodium is lower?
yeah, because it's harder for you to thermoregulate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I have an exercise science degree.
Yeah.
I don't think I learned anything in school.
You did.
Yeah,
You maybe just
I don't
forgot.
know. So what's if someone is too lazy to go, because I'm too lazy to go get I'm selfish.
Yeah.
If I'm too lazy to go get a sodium test or sweat test,
Yeah.
how much sodium should I be taking?
I think if you
If
go
I
to average,
train-
like between 800 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams.
Okay. What, like liquid IV? That's like 500, right? So I need like 2 of those
Yeah.
per day. Oh, interesting. It's funny because like, cup of noodles,
Yeah.
like instant ramen, right?
Oh yeah. Look.
Yeah. And
Chemicals.
my parents, every time I eat it, they're like, "Oh, don't drink the soup because there's too much sodium." And then you look at the back and it's like usually 1,200 milligrams or something.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to tell them, well, Eva told me that.
Yeah, but there is a lot of crap in there as well, actually. So
I know, but my parents always joke, "Oh, there's too much sodium in there. There's too much sodium in there."
There
So
are
I'm gonna
other things there.
Well, you know what?
You should
Dr.
worry
Eva
about.
said that I need 3,000 milligrams of sodium, so I'm going to drink the soup. Okay, and what other because I feel like sodium is it's starting to pick up in terms of knowledge and training, right? Like people are starting to know sodium is actually good, because I remember even 5-10 years ago, sodium was kind of like bad, like, oh, you're gonna get hypertension if you take too much sodium. What are some other things that, like, a swimmer, like, say we're probably gonna get a lot of swimmers listening to this. What's something easy that a swimmer can do to improve their performance that everybody is not doing, like super easy to improve their performance?
nutritionally speaking,
Nutrition, lifestyle, anything.
but there is like obviously sleep,
Yeah.
the most
That's big.
neglected part.
Yeah,
I
everyone talks
suppose.
about it, but no one does.
Yeah. There are supplements, I suppose, that I use to boost performance. Like one of the latest is like beetroot concentrate.
Yeah.
If you know.
To increase your nitrogen oxide.
Yeah, nitrogen. So it just expands the blood vessels. It spares your glycogen. It just you can sustain higher intensity for longer. So that's one of those things. The hydration that I mentioned, it's super important, and good warm up. Like I think that's one of the most neglected parts in swimming. Like like strength, warm up just before you go into cold room. Like some people just just spin their arms or whatever, and they jump around and they are trying to keep being warm, but actually utilizing some exercises you use, with maybe work with med ball just to put like prepare the muscle.
The
for-
neuromuscular system,
Yeah,
not just temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. What about other supplements? You mentioned creatine, beetroot,
creatine, beta alanine.
beta alanine.
Yeah.
How many grams for beta alanine?
2.
2 grams?
Yeah. How much do
Okay.
you use?
Sid, how much beta alanine do you take? the scoop is.
Whatever the scoop is, okay, that's 20.
I take one scoop.
It's like 5, I think it's like 5 mg, something like that.
Okay, so beta-alanine, creatine,
Yeah.
beetroot, anything else?
Yeah. The electrolytes. I wouldn't probably go into anything else.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Unless you did a blood test and you found that
of course. Yeah, like
something
if
is
you are low on something, then you
low.
obviously have to top it up. But
Yeah. How often do you recommend athletes to get a blood test?
at least twice a year.
Twice a year?
Yeah.
So every 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay. And then say something is low, do they need like a doctor to, like say they find something that's low, do they need a doctor to, you know, prescribe? I guess you don't need to prescribe it, but like, how would you know this is what I need to take?
So for example, like usually the blood results have a reference range. Like if you, for example, see your vitamin D is low, then you know you have to top them up. Like for example, you have vitamin D3, you take 4,000 international units if you are low on vitamin D levels. You go that, you practice that for, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks, and you see if your vitamin levels just climbed up. Yeah.
Increased or not.
And if they climbed up, if they are not in normal levels, then you just come down from 4,000 international units to 2,000. Yeah.
How come? I've heard a lot of swimmers who swim outdoors are low on vitamin D.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I suppose, there is one thing, like you spend some time outside, but the other thing is the quality, like how much actually goes through the skin.
Does it have to do with like if there's clouds in the sky?
I don't actually know. I don't actually know how it works completely, because I think there must be some differences even within the people. Like, like we can be exposed in the same place,
And
in the
then we
same
would
pool,
absorb it differently.
and we would absorb it differently.
So there's some genetic reason that
Maybe.
one person is not getting it from the sun, so you have to take it.
Maybe skin type as well.
I see.
That's why you should
Do a
get
blood
it
test.
regularly.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I lost a lot of blood this summer. I had a diverticular bleed, and I basically passed out. And my hemoglobin got to like 6 or 7, and so I had to take iron. And I was taking iron religiously every day.
Yeah.
And then I went to go do the blood test, and I forget which blood biomarker it is, but one of them was like dangerously high. I went the other way because I was like taking too much iron.
Like hemoglobin.
No, it wasn't hemoglobin. My hemoglobin stabilized, I think, at like 15. But
Okay.
there's another marker that measures iron stores, and that one went like dangerously high because I was taking
Like stored iron.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Something like that. But then it was too high, so then I had to like come down. Like
Yeah.
my poop was black.
Yeah. That's
Right.
lovely to know.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, so I think that's the importance of doing continual blood testing, because then you're taking iron and you're actually overdosing on iron
Yeah.
now. So don't just take supplements to take supplements. You got to make sure you're taking what you're deficient in.
Yeah.
Except like stuff like creatine and beta alanine, where you can't really like oversaturate, then you should for sure be taking creatine, right? Anyways, I think I think we've been doing this for almost an hour. So would you like to leave a question for our next guest? We don't know who our next guest is going to be, but is there a question that you think about often that you would like to leave for our next guest?
It's going to be related to swimming, right?
Anything you want. I mean, the last guest asked you what you're
The most afraid of.
what are you most afraid of? Which I think you gave a beautiful answer.
My question I leave is, what needs to happen in swimming so we wake up and allow more swimmers to reach their potential?
Beautiful.
Like what needs to happen in the sport? I don't know, in organizations or in our mentality or whatever. So
to help
we allow more
athlete
athletes
pursue their potential.
Yes, and be less burned out and leave from the sport happier.
So you truly feel like every athlete is not hitting their potential? Like I feel like this is your
I
life.
think in
This is your
swimming-
life mission.
Yeah, I think in swimming there are more athletes that are leaving the sport of swimming, hating the sport,
Oh yeah.
getting their shoulders
Yeah.
messed up, and feeling like they haven't reached their potential,
Yeah.
and maybe not even wanting to ever get back to water, because when they come into pool they smell chlorine and they just everything comes
It's like
back.
trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I started aquatic sports performance, because I was frustrated myself when I was a kid that I hit a plateau. I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting better. I found strength training. I did strength training, and then I got better. I broke my plateau, and then I was obsessed with training ever since then.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is going to be my life forever. And then when I was 25, 26, I basically started training myself and, playing with different training methods and playing with different strength training methods. And I started hitting best times at, 25, 26. And I was struggling to hit these times when I was in college, when I was 20, 21. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
there was so much potential left
Yeah.
in me that I need to pursue. That's why our slogan is pursue potential,
Yeah.
because it's something I really, really, really believe in my bones.
Yeah.
It's that every athlete has a potential and they have the right to pursue it. Like, not everyone's going to win Olympic. I'm
Yeah.
not going to win an Olympic gold, but I want to
But it's
see how
about the
fast.
feeling,
Yeah.
right? Like
I
you
wanna
are
give
living from the
everything.
sport.
I want to give everything I have
Yes.
to make sure I'm maximizing it. Because like you, I tell a lot of people this, like, I don't want to be 85 years old and I'm in my deathbed. I'm like, when I was 31, maybe I could have went 19 seconds in the 50 free. I don't want to do that. But yeah, anyways, I think that's a great place to wrap it up. Can we plug your business?
What does that mean?
Plug. Yeah, I want to highlight your business. What's your business? Where can the people find you?
People can find me on my Instagram,
Okay.
where I have all websites linked up.
Eva
Piatrikova.com.
Piatrikova.com. And you do online work, right?
Yes.
You work
I
with
do.
people online.
Yes, exactly.
So they can hit you up.
Yep.
They can do sweat testing
Sweat
with you.
testing.
So they can eat multiple bowls of ramen.
Yeah. But I do come to America.
Yeah.
I love America now.
Eva's been to
After-
Florida and California now, so we'll be seeing more of her. But yeah, thanks for coming on the show, and hopefully
you
we'll
for
see
having
you
me.
again.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Bye.